Hello, and welcome. I'm Liam, the music reviewer, and today we're going to be talking about the hotly discussed new J.Cole album, KOD. J.Cole is an American rapper that, if I'm being honest, gets a whole lot of hate, and I'm really not sure how much of that he truly deserves. I don't think he's quite offensively bad as somebody like Hopsin or recent Eminem music, where it is just unquestionably kind of in bad taste kind of thing. This when it comes to J. Cole, I've never felt myself being truly won over by him. 2014 Forest Hills Drive is a fine album. I don't think it's overhyped. I don't think that it's underrated. I just think it's an album that exists and I like. I don't feel any strong feelings towards. For Your Eyes Only is one where I just kind of thought to myself, I don't even have the energy to hate this album. It's there and it's pretty bland, and I just have no strong feelings towards it either way. I don't really think that's why I've never really kind of got into this whole J. Cole hate brigade. I do think it's funny when some people kind of mock the fan base for thinking it's too deep, you can't comprehend, you need to be so intelligent, you need your IQ to be this level. No, it's not that deep. J. Cole isn't making music that has to be analysed for days on end. It's nothing like that, and that's probably why some people dislike J. Cole, but I don't really think that impacts my feelings towards any of his music. It's just something to take note of. And this new album, KOD, had pretty much no fanfare to it. He announced it a few days before it was coming out. Said there was going to be a listening party kind of gig thing. Said people don't bring your cell phones, I'm not going to let any cell phones in. Obviously somebody sneaked in a cell phone and they got to hear the title track, KOD, and everyone's saying, oh, he's got some venom to his bite, he's back and he's angrier than ever sort of thing. And to a certain extent, those people are right with this song. Definitely J. Cole has more of a bouncy flow. He's not quite one note here. He's definitely kind of got some presence to him, even if the instrumentals, in my opinion, are just bare bone. You could make the argument that, well, this is also that his words are given the spotlight. These are center stage. He is the priority here. But I could make the counter argument that you can still have interesting instrumentals going on, even if you're trying to give your words priority. Now, KOD is a lot of it is about drugs. That's kind of the main. It's the main bit of its DNA. That's what it mainly consists of. And I think on this track anyway, the title track, it's explored decently enough. Cole brings in this kind of faster delivery, uses kind of some semi-clever wordplay, where I don't feel myself dozing off or anything like that. I do think that it's a fine track, though I just think that it's just kind of okay. It's kind of brought down by this bragging, where I'm just thinking to myself, really? I kind of think that it kind of takes away from the focus of it. And the thing is, the bragging isn't explored in a way where you could kind of argue that it's meant to be some sort of analysis of modern day rappers or anything like that. You couldn't make that argument at all. It's presented in such a way that it's directly from Cole. Now, before we jump into these lyrics that I've already kind of touched on a little bit, it's worth talking about the instrumentals, which, like I say, pretty bare bones, are quite understated, and quite like they were on For Your Eyes Only. There isn't quite the bombastic, glamorous instrumental here. It's very jazzy. That's kind of the right word to use for it. And of course, I say jazzy. We talk about a hip hop album. We're gonna think of To Pimp a Butterfly, and really, I find it hard not to kind of bring that up at all, because J. Cole's trying to do a whole narrative thing. He's trying to bring in this more jazzy style, and just they just range from bland to okay. There's no one song where I'm oh yeah, this has got a real kind of stickiness to it, where I feel myself humming it at points. There's nothing like that at all. There's no point where I was kind of in awe, oh, this is really beautiful. It's just kind of there. It's just kind of it's dressed, and it's meant to be something that's used to make whatever below it or whatever it's accompanied by, like, so much better. And that's meant to be the lyrics here, that kind of like the real like core meat and potatoes here. The lyrics here kind of range from being like wince and just and corny bad to being kind of good, actually. Like, I really did kind of think from my previous experience with it that I was gonna find myself kind of repulsed or just kind of like indifferent to it, but there were points where I did think, oh, actually that's a good line. What he has to say here is actually kind of relevant or quite interesting. That being said, though, there's a lot of times where, yeah, I do feel indifferent. I do feel like they kind of fall flat. We get the finale track, 1985, where basically it's all just like one big diss track towards like new age rappers like Lil Pump and all that. Cole just kind of takes hits at them. It really just feels like a track that old heads will love. They'll be like going on like, oh yeah, he's like tearing them in the arse and all that. It's like it really is delivered with such little energy. Like, people complain about new age rappers being all mumbly and that, but at least they're usually backed up by like something that gives it some energy to it. This finale is kind of like it makes it fall on like a total bum note here. It's not really that interesting. That being said, there's a few lines where I'm like, oh, okay, that's okay. There's one where like basically he's kind of taking shots like culture vulture rappers like Post Malone and I thought that was like, I feel like I was expecting to see that brought up by bigger names before already. Maybe I'm sleeping on people that have already brought it up before, but yeah, I thought that was a decent line, and I've kind of been a bit lenient, if I'm being totally honest, because I've said so far like that was an okay lyric there, but oh my god, there's one, and I'm gonna have to read it out here because I'm gonna end up like, again, physically being repulsed here. The big one that I just kind of found myself oofed by was sometimes I think pain is just a lack of understanding, which is a line that I should have like a picture of like this like space like with the stars and all that, and have like put in that like kind of cliche like artsy font and put it on Tumblr and get 3,000 notes for, because no, it's off the song Once an Addict, and that's a total shame because like this pops up, and I don't say like it totally detracts from it, but there's just like a lot of lines here where I'm like, it thinks it's really deep, it thinks it's got such an impact, and I just didn't feel that way at all by it. This song talks about Cole's mother's like alcoholism, and it points here like his deliveries in such a way where I'm like, you do like this did have some sort of impact to you. You're not just saying it like in a very like monotone way. You're saying it in a way where I'm like, I believe you, like I believe that this kind of had some impact the way that you're saying it did. And it's just a shame that like a lot of songs are just kind of brought down by just some like kind of like very weak lyrics where like you kind of remember them better than the actual instrumentals. Another song on here, The Cut Off, it brings in this perspective of someone with like a poor coping mechanism, and it kind of all ties into like, because the intro track on here kind of talks about, oh well, there's ways that people deal with things, there's various ways you can do it, the decision's up to you and that, and yeah, like I guess it does kind of tie in, like it's not just like brought in for like no real reason, like there's a setup and there's a payoff. It's a fine song. It's a fine song. Again, I feel like it walks a very thin line of being about like, oh, everybody wants to take my money, like they want to take advantage of me. It's a really cliche part of hip hop that you hear time and time again, and it's not even exclusive to this genre. Like you kind of hear it in just like all sorts like walks of music at this point. On top of that, it just seems to go on longer than it really needs to. Cole's got this alter ego called Kill Edward, and it just starts like repeating himself. That's like very shallow lyricism, and the album itself didn't go on for too long actually. It's just below the 50-minute mark. I expected to kind of be a bit more kind of like just kind of go on longer than it really needed to be, but it is like, it's fine paced. Like there's no points where I'm like, this is stretched on far too long. But like on a song like The Cut Off, I was like, okay, you could have shaved off like a good like 30 seconds here. ATM is another song that people are like hyping up quite a fair bit, and I totally understand why. It's a totally fine song at points. I think it's a good song. I just feel like when he's slagging off like new age rappers on 1985 and he's making a song that could have been reproduced by any of them, I think that's just a bit hypocritical. But it's a fine song. It's definitely one of the ones I think is like one of the better songs on here. If I'm going to pick a favourite song here, it's going to be Brackets. It's definitely my favourite one here. I want to make the term rap critic track a thing, because this is definitely something that he would like make like a 10-minute video on, like analysing it all line for line, and for good reason. Like Cole genuinely makes some like really good points on here, mainly to do with education and kind of taxing. Like he's like thinking ethically about all the money he's making. Like it starts off and he's bragging about it, like, oh, I've made millions and all that, and then he just kind of like starts to ponder, like, where's money actually going? Like, is it going to like all these like government officials, and that it's resulting in their apathy towards guns with like the NRA, and that ends up getting people killed. What about the education system, where my money's going to? Like, they're learning about these people that we grew up thinking were like true heroes, and all that we find out later on in life that we've been kind of given like a warped perception. It's interesting. Like, it never becomes like, did the man who invented college go to college? Kind of like levels of like wins in that. I genuinely do think there's like some like interesting bits here. I did find myself quite just had my he kept my attention. Cole, he definitely kept my attention on this track. The song does end pretty abruptly and unintentionally comedic, but there's a lot I like about this song, which makes it my favourite. The bit where like these two brothers are compared, like they're walking different walks of life, one being like the white man's school, as Cole puts it, other one just kind of like living in the streets, being threatened to kind of like get kicked out, and that of it just kind of like the kind of parallels there. I just found kind of interesting. It's not like a big part of this song at all, but the way that Cole talks about it, I did find myself being like, oh, I actually kind of care a little bit. I'd like to maybe even hear this a bit more fleshed out. And yeah, just the way he's like ethically thinking about things, I just find just kind of captivating and interesting. That being said, KOD is just an album that thinks it's a lot smarter than it actually is. And that's a shame, because I do feel there's going to be people that like this a fair bit more than I do. I know there's going to be people that hate this a lot more than I do. I think there's some merit to this album, I really do. I don't think it's a total snooze fest, even though I do think the instrumentals here, yeah, pretty much all of them are boring. I do think there's just some points where I'm like, okay, J. Cole's actually saying some things that I'm like, this is fine. Like, at some points, like I say on brackets, where I'm like, I'm genuinely kind of interested by this, but for the most part, it does think that it's smarter than it actually is. I think people are going to try and defend him and say, well, the whole drugs thing he's talking about, it's like breaking new boundaries, it's not been done before, but it has been done. It's been done far more interesting. I'm going to talk about atrocity expression because it's all I fucking talk about. But yeah, that was such an experimental way of like exploring this topic and other topics. Like, it wasn't just kind of like one note. And on here, like, J. Cole does talk about different things, not just drugs. I feel with the drugs talk though, it does feel pretty like one note. We get to see its impact in that. But I never, again, the time where I felt most compelled about it was when he wasn't talking about drugs. The whole album just feels kind of underdeveloped. That like there's some potential here. There's definitely some potential for like an actually like good album, but if I'm being serious, like, this was really difficult to talk about, and not because I'm dumb and like my IQ isn't like over like 200 or anything like that. I just found myself finding it hard to like talk about an album where like I just didn't feel like a strong reaction from. If I'm gonna rate this, I'm gonna give it a solid 4 out of 10. Yeah, just like I would feel bad giving like a 3 or something like that, because that's like what I would say for like an album that I consider actually bad. I just think it's kind of just subpar to bland. It hasn't changed my opinion on J. Cole at all, but I would be totally naive to think this is like a total car crash of an album. If you love it, if you feel it's the best hip hop project to be released this year, even if I disagree with you, just let me know in the comments. We can have a good old discussion about it. And if you hated it, if you think that I'm wrong in a lot of points here, or maybe not wrong but like you disagree with me, just let me know in the comments down below. We'll have a wee chat. Thank you as always for watching. Stay safe, stay hydrated, and I'll see you guys real soon.